Welcome to Slightly Inaccurate History. Today we are going to learn about Joan of Arc. Now, bear with me on this. This will be riddled, as usual, with inaccuracies. And it might be really quick because I don't really know an awful lot about Joan of Arc. But I'm going to tell you the story as to my doddery old lady memory of Joan of Arc. Basically, she was like an absolute, like, what's the word? Warrior. She was literally a warrior. Basically, Joan of Arc grew up in like a little town in France, and by all accounts, she believed that she was guided by angels, and she really felt that these angels were guiding her to save the country of France, which was something the English don't come off very good in this story, to be fair. So there was like loads of wars going on. There was like loads of I think it was like the 100 Years' Wars, so it must have been going on for quite a long time. Or that might have happened after. No, I think it was before. Anyway, England was like chucking their weight around in France, and Joan was like, I've had enough of this. Me and these angels need to go and see the king. So because the angels led her there, she requested to see the king. And so the king, for some reason, he was like, oh, all right, come on in, love. Pleased to meet you. This is King Charles II. Or was it before he was king and he was like nearly king? Anyway, he sort of had a chat with Joan, and he was like, yeah, I see where you're coming from here, Joan. I'll tell you what, you go and like start an army, and we'll sort this out. We'll get on top of it. So Joan goes and starts the army, or the army might have already been fighting in the 100 Years' Wars, but she goes and joins the army, and she's brilliant at it. So all the army's like, wow, this girl is like an absolute leader of this army. Really impressed with Joan. So she's doing well. She then went on and fought like another battle, and she was like the absolute like slayer, like brilliant at motivating all the army. And so the country was like, oh my God, thank you, Joan of Arc. She's like our hero. And it was all rosy. King was like besties with her, or king, or soon to be king, whichever that one was. Chuffed a bit. So that was like, she like skyrocketed. She's only a kid, by the way. She's about 17, I think, when she goes and like does all these battles and stuff. Anyway, so it's all going really well, and everyone's like fully on board, and they're like, Joan, yeah, we love Joan, she's mint. Unfortunately, the next couple of battles she's in, because you can't win them all, can you? They don't go as well, and poor Joan takes the flak. So the country's a bit like, not so sure about her anymore, I don't know. And even the king, her bestie, is a bit like, yeah, well, I never really liked her anyway. So he's like not backing her as much. And I do think they kind of chuck her under the bus a little bit here. Because then she gets captured by the British. Now, another thing about Joan, she was very, they say she transcended gender roles, I think is how it's described. Nowadays it might even be non-binary, but she basically didn't want to be like your typical like young lady. So she wore more practical clothes, and they thought of it as like she's dressing as a man, which at the time was very frowned upon. And the British was like, right, we've got grounds to actually burn you at the stake, because you're like the work of the devil, because of your dressing as a man, and all this talk about angels don't fly with us either. Like you're like some sort of witch or something, we're off with you. Really, I think that they just were like, yeah, she's kicking our ass in all these battles, let's get her out of the way, she's trouble. So they put her on trial. They could put her in prison, and during the like court case or something, I mean, this all sounds absolutely crazy, and maybe I have, because we know this is inaccurate history, so maybe this is where I've got it a bit wrong. But she's in prison, and they're like, oh, you're in prison on trial, but if you dress as a man anymore, we can kill you, like, by execution, because that's like against the terms of your court case or whatever, something like that. Basically, like, no more dressing as a man, Joan, you've got to wear ladies' clothes. And at these very same people who put her in jail and said, oh, you're not allowed to dress as a man, they took away her clothes. So then they replaced them with man's clothes. So she's either got to be naked, I mean, they ain't even going to like that, are they, really? Or dress as a man. They gave her those clothes. And yeah, so then next day they were like, oh, you've done it again, Joan, you've dressed as a man, oh my God. It's all against, that's like blasphemy against God, apparently. I can't imagine God giving two hoots about that, but there we are. So poor old Joan, and even the king, who by now, I'm pretty sure he is the king by now, her so-say bestie, he's like, oh dear, like, he just like, yeah, oh, I'm a bit busy. Poor old Joan gets burnt at the stake. And do you know how old she was when she was burnt at the stake? 19 years of age. Years later, like, I don't know how many years later, I want to say, like, it was in like the 1400s, so this might have been like 200 years later. I don't even know when Joan of Arc was, though. But years later it comes out. Oh, do you know what? Let's look at this trial again of Joan of Arc, because I actually think she wasn't quite so bad as you're making her out. So they look through all the trial notes and everything, and they're like, you've done her dirty there, like, you shouldn't have done that, you nicked her clothes, this whole thing about blasphemy, no, it's not standing. So basically they, like, what's the word, they revoked it, no, I don't know, they quashed her, like, whatever they charged her with, and said no, she was good after all. And then now she's like the patron saint of France. So I mean, it ain't much good to her now, but at least she's remembered fondly in history as the heroine that she was. Very, very brave young person that was on a mission, but met a bit of a fiery end, unfortunately. So that was Joan of Arc. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed Inaccurate History. I'll do some more to follow. And that was all it was. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.